Hello, I was on Horizons, episode 74 review, and we get a nice lore-heavy episode after the last action-packed one. Diana is in the kitchen waiting to reunite with Liko, and upon seeing all the kids' evolved Pokemon, she quickly challenges Liko to a battle to gauge her growth. So yeah, you've been tricked! There's action too! It's going to be a serious match, with Florigato immediately tanking an extreme speed after firing a Magical Leaf. It's a really small thing, but I love that they kept the homing property of Magical Leaf as it winds back and hits Arcanine. It's a ballsy play from Liko, and it's really great to see. Of course, she also has Acrobatics to dodge Flamethrower, and it's a really great display of Liko's talent as she knows when to take a hit and when she can afford to dodge and attack back. It fires up Diana big time and pulls out Ace on the whole move, Flare Blitz, which Florigato does get hit by, and Arcanine fires off another, though Liko uses Sucker Punch, which catches them off guard. But it has the downside of activating Arcanine's ability Justified. Everyone is impressed with Liko, though Freed is a bit more serious in knowing what Justified does. Liko uses her trump card, Terrastal, and Diana meets it with another Flare Blitz. But Liko is smart and trips up Arcanine by targeting Magical Leaf at its paws and wins the battle. Straight up with Magical Leaf. What an awesome little action section this was, and I talk about these characters' growth a lot, but looking back to where the win condition before was to get one hit, it's just excellent. So we get into why Diana's really here, which is information about Lucius. She shows him a picture of her and a young Hamber and mentions that he's an explorer. We know this, and that he wanted a pendant that became Terrapagos, which prompted Free to be hired by Luca. It's just a little recap after taking a break from main and informing the rest of the crew about what they weren't here for. The first bombshell is that Diana knew of the Explorers group is because Lucius was the one that found it, definitely shaking up what we know. But Hamber and the other Explorers are using the name, basically implying that Lucius isn't a bad guy. On her journeys, it was tough to find things in history books about the Explorers, so she travelled around the world, looking where Lucius apparently went, and looking into local folklore to get information, which I think is a really cool way to do it, getting some real boots on the ground info from places that had a connection to him. In these, it mentions his friends, Ristal and Gibeon. This is when Diana gets informed that they already know the name Ristal, while Liko's the only one who's heard of Gibeon, which comes as a shock to everyone else, but they built a really funny joke as she forgot to mention her discussion of Amethio and how Gibeon's his grandfather. Basically a reversal of Freed forgetting to mention important things. It's confusing to them, as his age should be inconsistent with Gibeon just being Amethio's grandfather. Definitely a plot thread that I'm ready to see explored. Also, Gibeon's on the board at Exceed, where Freed used to work, as you remember, letting Freed mention Racurium to everyone else, who wasn't informed already. Diana says no one at Exceed has met Gibeon, and okay, it's really silly, but watching everyone put together about Rakua and Racurium sounds similar. I might come from the same place and maybe laugh. Like, this doesn't feel like a big revelation, guys. In general, though, I thought this scene was great. Everyone's just pulling their information together and connecting these dots to solve a mystery. It's really nice, it makes it feel like our heroes have made some progress. And over a snack, Terrapagos really does respond to the name Ristal, which makes Liko want to go out to Cristobal for Terrapagos' sake, and maybe they can commune with her. So that's what we do. Terrapagos heads out to the water and they all pray, and the pool responds with blinding white light. Ristal and a baby appear. She recognises Terrapagos, or Pagago as she calls it. Liko awkwardly tries to talk the six heroes come out. She says they're all okay, which I think is interesting wording. Why would she think they weren't? It gives me the impression that the last time she saw them, something bad really must have happened. Free takes over the introductions to be succinct and explain what's happened. Ristal believes she's in the future as the six heroes and Pagago are there, which that's a huge bombshell, isn't it? Terrapagos didn't belong to Lucius, and we can see that Terrapagos is present twice in this scene as it's still a pendant on Ristal's neck. Her baby starts crying and calls her Layla, shaking Diana as her mother had the same name. Ristal thinks that Diana is her granddaughter, and they shake up this revelation with a really funny joke as Doc calls her Liko's great-great-great-grandma, which makes Ristal a bit mad as that implies she's old. This explains why Terrapagos is with them, and the next big twist of the characters is that it turns out Layla is both Ristal and Lucius' child, which is where we end the episode. So wow, this episode had a lot. Of course the reunion with Diana and results of her investigation, but finally confirming Liko's familial connection to Lucius was crazy to see. I mean, let's be real, right? Pokemon isn't amazing with their ancestor designs, so we as an audience knew. But in universe, Liko is not someone who ever thought that she had some grand destiny or something, and this is going to be her face-to-face with it. Ristal, of course, being a new revelation meant her reaction to finding out she's related to Ristal a bit more subdued. But the yell when she finds out she's related to Lucius was really funny. And speaking of Ristal, I thought she was a great inclusion to the series, being Terrapagos' trainer was a great twist in and of itself. And she really does hint at some sad fate that would leave the six heroes in the situation they were, split up in different parts of the world. She takes finding out she's in the future like a champ. Like, well, she can't go back. But it's nice that she did, because she's got some sort of closure on the six heroes being okay, Terrapagos being reawakened, and her daughter gets to go on have a family that's gone on to pick up the torch of Lucius' legacy. I think one minor thing I'd make to this episode is add the mist that's present in the Sada and Tura Cristobal scene. It just helped make that encounter so much more atmospheric, as this is the Horizons version of that scene. But that's such a minor nitpick. This episode was absolutely fantastic. I love the lore dump, I love her putting the pieces together, I love the expansion of the past storyline with the inclusion of Rist. And I love that Liko got a big win against someone who was so untouchable to her before.